Monday afternoon. Welcome into Mic'd Up. Jake and Fulton with you on what could be a double victory Monday. It really, really could. Chiefs own the Chargers, and Patrick Mahomes making the Chargers and the rest of the AFC West when he goes on the road, the owner of every single AFC West team. That is right. The Chiefs take care of business, and the Chargers do what they do, and they go full Charger. Plus, T-minus 53 minutes and counting, Team USA taking on Wales. Not the animal, the actual country coming up. So we could have a Chiefs win last night.
Yes.
And a Team USA in the World Cup win today in less than 18 hours. It could be a double victory Monday.
It'd be a beautiful day. I can't lie. It'd be a beautiful day if we get the Chiefs and we get to do all that discussion about the Chiefs today, and then we get to close this show because roughly the game will end getting close to the end by the time we're off the air, and we get to tell you that the Americans have knocked down the Welsh and get crucial 3 points. Very helpful after England stomped Iran this morning.
That helps. We got a lot to get to today.
We have a lot.
A lot to get to. Jake LeBon, Fulton Caster with you on this Monday afternoon. As always, hit us up on our Big O Tires text line, 785-272-9429. Also, love to get your thoughts on our Twitter page, @SportsOn580, as well as our YouTube page. Go to youtube.com/@SportsOn580, or go to YouTube, just type in the search function, Sports on 580, it's 580, and join, subscribe. Very simple, very easy. If you want to be a part of the show, hit us up in the comment section as well. But let us know on this Monday edition. We'll hear from Andy Reid, talk a little K-State, KU football, go around the NFL. A lot to discuss today on this Victory Monday. 2 weeks ago, we sat here and said the reason why the Chiefs are where they're at is because we've got Patrick Mahomes and you don't. This is just another example of why Patrick Mahomes is the best player in the NFL and has been for the last 5 years. It truly is incredible. Your top 3 wide receivers are not playing in this game. Juju out. Hardman, production-wise, out. Kadarius Toney, who saw more snaps than Watson and Moore combined, out. Did not matter. Patrick Mahomes found a way to get the job done. How many times did we say when the Chargers scored, the Chiefs had 2 timeouts and 1:40 to go to find a way to get a touchdown? Patrick Mahomes, 4-down territory, 2 timeouts, game on the line, is virtually a lock when it comes to this. The thing that just blows my mind, and this is a great statistic. This is from Josh Dubois of the AP. And this puts everything into perspective for Patrick Mahomes. The Kansas City Chiefs are 9-6 in the regular season with Patrick Mahomes at quarterback when trailing after 3 quarters going into the 4th quarter. Trailing. So we got 15 minutes to go. The Chiefs are 9-6. The next best winning percentage in the Super Bowl era. Minimum of 15 starts when trailing after 3 quarters. Okay? So you're down, 4th quarter starting, minimum, right? Is Jay Schroeder at 15-27. That's a 35% winning percentage. Jay Schroeder The only reason why I know the name Jay Schroeder is because he was the damn quarterback in Super Tecmo Bowl and Bo Jackson was the Raiders running back. And they showed it, when he'd throw a pass, and when he actually did throw a pass, it'd be like touchdown, and it'd be, the name, and it'd say Jay Schroeder. Patrick Mahomes is 9-6 when trailing in the fourth quarter. That is a 60% winning percentage. The next best quarterback is not Tom Brady. It's not Peyton Manning. It's not Joe Montana. It's not Terry Bradshaw. It's not Dan Marino or Will Howard. It's Jay Schroeder. But let's put this more into perspective.
Sure, let's do that.
Patrick Mahomes has played in 73 regular season games. He's only been trailing going into the fourth quarter in 15 of them.
Yeah, I think that it's absurd already to think of the fact that the team is above 500 when they trail into the third quarter.
Not just above 500, but three games above 500.
That in itself is absurd. The other fact is that in 70 plus games, they've only been trailing entering the fourth 15 times.
That is a 20% chance that you are going to be leading going into the fourth quarter. That's it. That means if Patrick Mahomes plays 100 games as a starting quarterback, you're going to lead the going into the fourth quarter 20% of the time. That's it, 20% of the time. And then you're only going to win those 20% of the time 40%. I'm going with some, Big Papa Pump math here, with
the Steiner math is coming out.
30% and the 30%, but that's incredible.
Yeah.
You are going to lead the Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes at quarterback 20% of the time going into the fourth quarter. That is it, 20%. And of that 20%, I really am doing Steiner math here, you will win only 40%. That's banana land. That is truly banana land.
It puts into context how difficult, what we're seeing, and you and I all the time just talk about this, of do not take for granted what you are witnessing. Andy Reid, who occasionally can get reflective and actually give you some really, I guess philosophical is the best way to word it. Speaking of the postgame last night, he basically said, we got to watch this from the sidelines of what Mahomes and Kelce can do. We want them to play for forever, but this has an expiration date on it. One day, Mahomes and Kelce are no longer on this team. One of them a lot sooner than the other. We'll get to travel a little bit. That's expiration date's coming faster than anybody wants to think. Well, given the way he's playing, it might be farther off than it realistically should be.
But I fully agree with where you're going.
The point is, though, and that's what I think is what moments like these we need to use as of you're watching a quarterback that rarely is trailing entering the fourth quarter, which in and of itself is absurd to consistently 6 years in to be like, no, we're usually leading after 3. And then to think, all right, we're losing entering the fourth. We still got a 60% chance to win the game. And it's that shouldn't happen. But that's how good Mahomes is because, think about it. And I don't think anyone with a minute 46 and 2 timeouts, Chiefs down 4 points, were worried.
In fact, it was the opposite.
Yeah.
When Keenan Allen caught the pass, the Chiefs at that point in time were actually plus to win the game on the money line because they assumed that the Chargers were going to score and win. I made money last night. I was like, wait a minute. The Chiefs are going to be plus value with Patrick Mahomes at a minute 45 to go in the game? Yes, I thought that they were going to end up winning the game. That's the crazy thing about what Patrick Mahomes is able to do with Justin Watson, Sky Moore, Travis Kelce. That's it. Because MVS didn't show up until he had one reception. That's it. It was Travis Kelce, Sky Moore, and Justin Watson. And then, we'll throw a pass to Jody Fortson. Running game got going well with Isaiah Pacheco. We'll get into that a little bit as well. But that's what makes this just absolutely incredible. But also, this is the Chiefs Chargers. Like, I swear the Chargers, because they play on the left coast, nobody knows about the Chargers unless they play in prime time. And when they play in prime time, they play the Chiefs. And when they play the Chiefs, they play their best game of the year.
Yeah, Chargers, if the Chargers could bottle up how they play Kansas City, they would actually be that team that could challenge for the AFC West title. The Chargers,
not just the AFC West title, they would be the number one wild card, and everybody would be scared to death to face the Chargers.
The Chargers against the Chiefs are the team everyone thinks they are in the preseason every year, with how great they play, how consistent they play, and everything. For whatever reason, the Chargers in the other 15 games of the year are a blind squirrel.
No, the Chargers are going to lose next week.
Who do they play?
I don't know. They're going to lose.
I want to see that. They probably, honestly, wouldn't be surprised if they lose. Because the Chargers are broken.
Because Mike Williams is probably not going to play. They're at the Cardinals. I don't think they're going to beat the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals are going to win that game.
Sure.
Because the Chargers do what they always do after the Chiefs game. Remember, they played Thursday Night Football, right?
Yep.
They had the extra couple games after the Chiefs beat them, right? They lost 38-10 to the Jags.
Yeah, the Jags it came into SoFi and did things I don't think I'm allowed to speak about on air.
That's just what they are. The Chargers get up, and credit the Chargers because this was their game. This was the game to save their season. The Chargers are now 5-5, and they still have to go to the Cardinals, take on the Dolphins, take on the Titans, and that might be 3 losses right there. Like, that was the game. Keenan Allen played. Mike Williams gave it a go, but turns out he's probably not even going to play next week, all because he made 1 catch. Like, this is what the Chargers do, and the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes just find a way
they do
it. The Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes have won 25 straight games in November and December. That is insane. It is insane that they have won 25 straight games in the month of November and December.
That's absurd. And moreover, at least for this specific season, because there was so much talk this year about the AFC West was going to be tough, that the Chiefs trying to find ways to win without Tyreek Hill, all these different storylines. Jake, it is the weekend of Thanksgiving. The Chiefs are minus 7,000 to win the AFC West.
Yeah, that's over.
That's absurd. It is Thanksgiving, and a division race is done.
Correct.
It's over.
Correct.
Because the Chargers are now
3 games up. 3 games up.
And own the tiebreaker.
Yes, they swept them.
It's over. It is Thanksgiving, and we're doing the Vince Carter. Like, that... Brendan tweeted about this last night, and him and I chatted about it a little bit when we did the Instant Reaction show, which you can still find on our Sports on 580 YouTube page. I'm with Brendan now, though, that more and more every week I watch football, I'm more and more convinced the Chiefs might actually just cruise to a Super Bowl. Watch every other team play, then watch Kansas City. Because we'll get to it later this hour. The rest of the NFL this week sucked. There were bad football games across the board. And then you watch Kansas City play football.
Without their 2 best wide receivers.
And I know this can all come off in such a way of everything coming through Chiefs-colored glasses. And a little bit of that is from Jake and I. We can admit that. But also, just watch the Chiefs play football and then watch any other football game. It is like 2 different games are being played. And this was another example of it. The Chargers did, everything you could ask them to do. They played their tails off.
They played their best defensive game of the year.
They did. They did everything they could. They forced a crucial fumble to get the lead back. They made great plays. They were stopping the Chiefs on numerous times. They were forcing field goals in the red zone. And then, Derwin James all night was making Travis Kelce's life tough. But then when it mattered most, Andy Reid schemes up the right play, and it's a walk-in touchdown. Because no matter, they feel inevitable. That's kind of what my thought last night was, just Mahomes and Kelce, they're inevitable.
They're like Thanos.
They are. They're the Thanos meme of just, they're inevitable. They're going to do something like this if you give them the chance. It is more surprising when they don't than when they do. Because we talked about it, that when you think you have Mahomes and about a minute left, couple timeouts, we'll go make a play. The Colts game, we're like, oh, Mahomes has got, about a minute, timeout in his pocket. Oh, they'll go win the game. And then the pick happens, you're stunned. Whereas other teams, it's like, okay, they didn't get it. We kind of expected that. The Chargers, we had the thought of like, maybe they might be able to do it 30 seconds. But when they didn't, it was like, that kind of happens.
And I can tell you this. The reason the passing game was open at times is because they could run the football.
Yeah.
There was the threat of the run. If the Chiefs can run the football effectively in the first quarter and make it semi-established, then they don't have to be successful. Like this gets blown out of proportion. I'm not saying don't throw it every time. There is nuance. But if the running game can be a viable option, that is what makes this offense even scarier. Pacheco yesterday, he ran it for 107 yards. That is better than what you need. If Pacheco carries it 12 times and gets 80 yards, that is viable. That's enough. But what he did yesterday was even more impressive for the Kansas City Chiefs. And even McKinnon had 48 yards rushing. Like that offense, when everything is working and clicking, and everything did except for one aspect, which was my second key to the game. Do you remember what it was? Red zone offense. Kicking field goals is a win for the opponent. And that's what happened in this game.
Made it close.
The Kansas City Chiefs red zone offense was not good. It wasn't. It was 2 of 4, and one of those field goals, they were just outside of the red zone, so it didn't even count. The Chargers did everything right. Everything. Except they didn't have the ball last. They had it last, but nothing was going to happen because then Chris Jones completely shut the door on
Chris Jones
the
called
Chargers.
game.
And that was great. I mean, that was a fun game. Hopefully you had the Chiefs in the money line on this one. Coming up next, we'll go through a little weekend's takeaways and fails, and then we'll go around the NFL here on Mic'd Up. And fails. What do you got real quick? Because I got a fail.
I do too, but it's short and sweet. The SEC is a failure of a conference. Vanderbilt gets their biggest win in forever, but they get fined yet again because their fans rush the field. Where it just means more does not apply to celebrating wins because we are still children. It's stupid.
My fail is the Division II playoff and the formula and everything involving Division II. It is broken, and it is an absolute sham. This weekend was the first round of the Division II playoffs. In the region of the MIAA, which includes Washburn, Northwest, Pitt, and all that kind of stuff, Emporia. Here are the scores. Northwest Missouri State, 47. Ouachita Baptist, 17. Ouachita went undefeated in the GAC. And they got their butts absolutely handed to them by a team that finished 9-2 and won 2 games this year against Washburn and Emporia by a combined 3 points and the last basically play of the game. Pittsburgh State beat Indianapolis, the Greyhounds. They won the GLVC. Pitt State won the MIAA. Pitt State beat them 35-0. Just because you win your conference in Division II doesn't mean that you should be in the playoffs. This is an absolute joke. Division II is a complete farce. By the way, Ferris State beat Davenport, another team who got the at-large, just like an at-large bid would be Northwest Missouri State. Davenport, they lost Ferris State 41-7. I guarantee you Washburn and Emporia and Kearney would have beaten Davenport, Indianapolis, and Ouachita. It is completely broken. They need to change the way they do things. They need to go to the FCS model. It's embarrassing in Division II, and the MIAA needs to fight for this. Coming up next, we'll go around the NFL. Team USA getting ready to take on Wales. Good news is this game is on land and not in the water. Otherwise, Team USA would have a real tough chance of winning this match.
Do you and Fitz just share jokes?
Wait, what?
Our good friend Tim Fitzgerald, GoParrotCat.com.
Yes.
That's the joke he's been making all week.
What?
Whales, that's like Wales, the animal.
Yeah. Oh, we're not taking on Wales?
No.
Who are we taking on?
Wales, the country.
Oh, the country.
Yeah, I wanted to be clear. You and Fitz have now made to a perfect running tee start to finish the exact same joke.
Because we're smart people.
Sure, let's go with that.
We're smart people.
Let's go with that.
Just to let you know, the other group match today was the favorite to win the group, England. And in fact, England is one of the top 5 favorites to win the entire World Cup. They beat Iran 6-2.
Bit of a laugher.
Explosion of goals in the second period for England. So that's a big difference there. So what does this mean? This means that USA needs to beat Wales. If they beat Wales, they're going to advance to the group stage, out of the group stage. I think they will do that.
It would be very difficult for them not to at that point.
If you beat Wales, and I mean, you essentially have to win 2 matches. You beat Wales and you beat Iran, who just gave up 6 goals and doesn't look great, then you're going to advance. You're going to advance. Yeah. Does not matter what you do against England. And so that is what the hope is that if you lose this match today, like lose it. If you tie, you're still in okay shape as long as you don't lose to England by a whole bunch and you beat Iran.
Yeah, you need to get a win and either against Wales or Iran. If you draw both of those, you're in an incredibly difficult spot.
Yeah.
Because you're kind of penciling in that England will be a loss. And that's just because the English are that good. But if you can beat Wales, that takes a lot of pressure off the back end. You do need at least the draw today. Because if you get the draw today and you get a close loss on Friday, there's another benefit to what happened to England and Iran today, is that Iran got killed.
Losing a match 4-0 basically ends your
goal
your
differential
deal.
Is the number one tiebreaker used in the group stage. And so that's why if you're going to lose matches at the World Cup, you need to be losing by small margins, so at least your goal differential. Now for Iran, I mean, the odds that they finish with a negative goal differential is high.
Correct.
Because they would have to outscore win their match against the U.S. and against Wales by a combined total of 5 more than what they gave up. Yeah. This would be +5 in the goals to get positive.
Just got to get the win today if you take care of Wales. And from the Big O Tires text line, thank goodness that this isn't in water and it's on land, because we'd probably drown trying to play that long. It's very hard. I'm with you, Big O Tires text line. Let's go around the NFL. And the NFL this weekend, outside of the win for the Kansas City Chiefs, the biggest game turned into a laugher.
Yeah.
And it was Dallas taking on Minnesota. And I don't know if Minnesota played. But what this shows is that Minnesota was living on some borrowed time. I still think Minnesota is a good team. I do. But they are now in the same category as I don't think that they're going to make it to the Super Bowl. Like, that eliminated the Vikings to me being Super Bowl contenders, because I don't think they're not going to get the number 1 seed now because they've already lost to the Eagles.
And they're effectively 2 games back to the tiebreaker.
Yes. So they're going to have to win 3 games to get to the Super Bowl. They're not going to win 3 games. They're not. But Minnesota looked terrible. Dallas looked very good. Mm-hmm. But that was the biggest game of the weekend. It was. The second biggest game of the weekend was kind of a toss-up. It's probably tonight. San Francisco versus Arizona.
Yeah.
But I don't think either one of them are going to make a huge impact. But the rest of the games, there were some upsets. Detroit beating the Giants.
Yeah, big game for Detroit.
Not a surprise there, to be honest with you. Buffalo was able to hold off Cleveland, but it wasn't, an impressive effort.
No.
Buffalo giving up a lot of passing yards. And then Philadelphia finding a way to win. Philadelphia now, honestly, is starting to look like the team that people have kind of figured out, because Jalen Hurts in his last couple of games hasn't been able to throw the football. Here are his last 2 games. 190 yards, 175 yards, 1 win, 1 loss. And the Colts had a chance to win this game. I mean, they had 2 different chances. They were down to 4th down, and the Eagles found a way to get the win at the end. I really don't. I don't blame Jeff Saturday from kicking the field goal, because some people are going to be like, because what happened was they were up 13-10. They were up 13, or excuse me, they were up, 13-10. Colts have the football. They're driving. They get it in the goal-to-go situation. And you're thinking, okay, you can't kick a field goal because then a touchdown beats you. Well, they got sacked on 3rd down, and it ended up being 4th and goal from the 18-yard line. You got to kick the field goal there. You can't go for it from that 19-yard line on 4th down.
Yeah, 4th and goal at the 19. If it was 4th and goal at the 5, I would say go for it, because either make the Eagles go 95 yards-ish to get the field goal, or you can go up.
Here's my problem is Jeff Saturday, you have the ball 1st and goal at the 5. All right. You give it to Jonathan Taylor. No gain. You give it to Jonathan Taylor for 3 more downs. Instead, 2nd and 5, pass, incomplete. 3rd and goal at the 5. Matt Ryan gets sacked for a 12-yard loss. And now you got to kick the field goal. 1st and goal at the 5. You've got Jonathan Taylor, who is a terrific running back. Give him the football 4 times from the 5-yard line.
Yeah, Jonathan Taylor in that situation should have 4 chances to get 5 yards.
And
more often than not, Jonathan Taylor's going to get those 5 yards.
And if not, then you just live with it. Yeah. You don't trust Matt Ryan. No. And because the field goal there does the inverse. There is some of it, and we've talked about this before, where the field goal there sometimes hurts you because now the opposing team knows they're in 4-down territory.
Yep.
If they didn't kick the field goal,
they were only up 13-10.
13-10.
The Eagles might play a little bit more conservative and be willing to settle for that field goal.
The Eagles might have kicked the field goal because they had it 4th and I believe 5 at like the Colt 12-yard line. Maybe they kick the field goal and go to overtime. But instead, they have to go for it and they end up getting the touchdown. I know that's some real deep thinking there, but play calling that was incredible. At least on my vantage point for the Eagles. The Eagles, I think, are a really good team. They have a very good defense. They really, really do. They give up 17 to Dallas, 13 to Pitt, 17 to Houston. They had their one bad game, which everybody does.
Mm-hmm.
And then they gave up 16 to the Colts. Like, their defense is good. Their offense, though, I do think is limited. And here's the reason why. Who are you taking in a playoff game? Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen. Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes. There's a difference between the two. Jalen Hurts is playing very, very good, but he's not Patrick Mahomes. I don't believe that he is. I'm not going to side with him. If he's your leading rusher and he's your leader in throwing the football, obviously passing, and he's not even generating 200 yards a game, that's a problem if you are the Philadelphia Eagles. Some other big games over the weekend that had an impact. The team that is headed to Arrowhead coming up on Sunday, my goodness, the Rams are washed. The
Beyond
Rams
washed.
are absolutely washed. They are now 3-7. They are eliminated. The winner of the Super Bowl last year is not even going to sniff the playoffs. The winner of the Super Bowl they might get a top 10 draft pick. Oh, wait, no, they're not.
The Lions are going to get a top 10 draft pick.
The Lions are going to get that top 10 draft pick. The Rams are just in an absolute free fall, losing 6 of their last 7 games. And they take on the Chiefs and the Seahawks coming up next. Like the and I don't even know if, depending upon concussion protocol, if Matt Stafford's going to play in the game.
Matt Stafford might not play because he's in concussion protocol.
Who the hell is Bryce Perkins?
Oh, UCL, sorry, I was thinking of Brett Hundley. Bryce Perkins, Virginia legend Bryce Perkins, I believe. Yeah, Virginia quarterback Bryce Perkins. Played Virginia, was okay.
He was not okay if I've never heard of him in college.
He was all right.
No, he was not all right.
You just don't watch Virginia football.
No, because if he was any good, like, I at least know, like, May, the quarterback of North Carolina.
Yeah, you know Drake May.
Like,
that's because Drake May is really good.
In order to be a quarterback in the NFL, you should be really good. It
does not always work that way, my friend.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, if your backup quarterback is Bryce Perkins.
For what it is worth, I believe Bryce went undrafted. I believe he's an undrafted free agent.
That wouldn't surprise me at all because, they have no draft picks. But
I mean, yeah,
they won it all last year. Hey, Rams fans, man, enjoy it. You won it last year. But the Rams are cooked. Their goose is completely cooked.
Yeah, they're done.
Cincinnati hanging around.
Found a way to get a win over Pittsburgh.
Thank you. Appreciate that. And so this week did not have many great games.
No, there was just some absurdly bad football that was played yet again. I mean, Eagles Colts was entertaining, but not still the greatest football being played. Bears Falcons was close, but bad football still being played in that game. Jets Patriots set the game back 3,000 years.
The Jets special teams coach should be fired. There's 20 seconds to go in the game.
You punt that ball out of bounds.
What are you doing?
You punt
okay, let me ask you this. How many touchdowns had the Patriots scored that entire game?
0.
Okay. How many points did the Patriots score that entire game?
Up until the punt, 3.
3. Okay. The game is tied. There's 20 seconds left.
Punt the ball out of bounds.
Just punt the ball out of bounds. The only way you are going to give up points in that game is if a good return.
Yeah.
And it ended up being a great return.
Yeah, it was
and they scored a touchdown. The special teams coach should be yelled at and screamed at, and then he should scream at the punter going, why are you? And he kicked it right to him. I mean, right down the middle of the field.
Yep.
What on earth are you thinking? Plus, Zach Wilson, buddy, you're done. You're gone. And here's the reason why. It's not because he sucks at quarterback. In the post-game press conference, he was asked this question. Do you feel like you let your defense down? Which is a legitimate question.
It is, with how great that defense played
yes.
and how bad that offense was. It's a legit question.
It's one of those things where hey, do you feel like you let them down? Like, they played such a great game for you guys to lose. And his response, no. No, I don't feel like we let them down. I'm going to give you a little tidbit here on how a NFL locker room works. And just the locker room in general. You can't fake your way through it. If you mess up, you need to say the words,
yeah,
my bad, or you need to say, I effed up. It's my fault, guys.
I need to play better.
I
need
to
to be better for you.
I got to be better.
Yeah, that's being a leader.
Forget leader at this point in time. I agree with you. You just have to. You have to look. You have to look Quinnen Williams and Sauce Gardner and Mosley and DJ Reed,
guys
and all these
playing
guys
their tails off
in the face, and say, "We got to be better. I got to be better. I am sorry." Look at what Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes do. I got to make a better throw. Andy Reid, that's on me. You got to take the bow and arrows. Zach Wilson, nah, man. Not only do you suck, you're terrible, but also you're a bad teammate. You don't feel at all like you let your team down.
You don't feel like you let them down when you were 9 of 22 for 77 yards.
You don't feel like you let them down? So you think you did your job. If I am Robert Saleh and I am the Jets,
I cut bait.
Unless there is no other options, you need to release Zach Wilson at the end of this year. You need to release him because, one, that is a good enough roster on defense to be a contender. And if you just have here, you want to know what I would do? This is what I would do if I were the Jets. For real. And this is wild for me to say this. I would go try to get Derek Carr.
Yeah, no, I am 100% with you.
And you know my stance on Derek Carr.
I know both our stances on Derek Carr.
Yeah.
No, if I am the Jets after this year, see, I don't cut Zach Wilson for the only simple fact of I think financially it actually makes it better for them to keep him. I don't know about the cap figures and all that. It might
be, but
I don't pick him as fifth-year option for damn sure at this point.
No.
But no, at the end of this year for the Jets, unless the Raiders do something crazy that lets them keep Derek Carr and doesn't let him hit the open market, I go to Derek Carr, and if I'm the owner of the Jets, I hand him a check that's blank with my signature on it and say, fill in the open spaces, please. Because you put Derek Carr on that roster, they're actually a more competent football team. They truly are. Because they have, like, it's similar but not the same when discussing, like, the Jets offense right now, what we thought about the Broncos offense last year of being a quarterback away. They still need a couple more pieces, but Garrett Wilson's the real deal. Garrett Wilson can play some football. Corey Davis can play well. Elijah Moore, I don't know what's happening there. He had talent last year, and then all of a sudden, I don't know what's going on there. James Robinson can run the football usually pretty well. Michael Carter's been nice. Breece Hall's back next year. That offensive line has some pieces on it when healthy. Like, I was a guy who thought Zach Wilson could be an NFL quarterback when he came out of the draft. Through a year and a half, like, and for me, it's at this point, and this is what the only time I ever get out on quarterbacks early is when I feel like they don't have the mental fortitude to do this job. Zach Wilson, I don't think, has got it upstairs to do this. And I don't mean intelligence. I mean the fortitude to put up with the grind. Because you watch him go through these plays, and you watch him have to play football, and it's poor. It's poor decision. Like, Zach Wilson, under any pressure, loses all facets of what to do. You give him the little bit of pressure, and that man looks like a junior high schooler on the freshman team who doesn't know what he's doing. You can't be an NFL quarterback like that. And just with how well your defense played, it is not wrong for you to sit there when asked, did you let them down, to go, yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Like, they played their tails off.
He should have said, he should have said, yeah, I sucked.
Yeah, it's like, I played terrible. I ask you this, Jake, just to add on to this here. We get longer on the Jets than I thought, but it's important to point these out. Do you know how many yards of offense the Jets had after halftime?
Like 8.
Less. The Jets after halftime had 2 yards of offense. The Jets for the game had 103 yards of offense. And the Patriots defense is good. It ain't that good. It ain't 85 Bears out there.
No. But
it's disgusting.
Baltimore looked awful
against the Panthers.
Yeah, that was not good at all.
Like, that's disgusting.
Shout out to Denver. The Broncos finding ways to lose. You hear this?
It's so funny.
The Broncos right now are going to send the 5th overall pick to the Seattle Seahawks. And the Seattle Seahawks right now are going to win the division. They are 6-4 right now. Now, granted, they have to hold off San Francisco.
They're probably going to the playoffs. Seattle's probably going to the playoffs. They're going to pick in the top 5. Good job, Denver. Also, this stat forever will make me laugh and chuckle inside when it comes to the Denver Broncos. If the Denver Broncos scored 18 points in the regulation every game this year, they'd be 9-1. If they just scored 18 points in regulation, still one of the worst offenses in the league at that mark. At 18 a game, you are still not world beaters. They'd be 9-1.
Yeah. Hilarious.
They are wasting such a great defensive performance.
Yeah, but the Giants and the Jets, yeah, they're paper tigers, and it seems like the Vikings are as well. Who knows? Maybe some team's just going to catch lightning in a bottle and just run through the NFC.
Someone probably is. I don't know, man.
Coming up next, we will finish this 1 o'clock or noon hour up as World Cup time. USA, Wales. Let's get it done. Survivor pool. I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't think we'd last this long. I'm really not. But I took Cincinnati. They came away with the victory. Dan took New England. Man, I was rooting for the Jets. But Dan and
They were close.
myself continuing on in our survivor pool.
I think to make this extra...
Are you cheering for me?
Of course I am. You're my showmate.
Yeah.
I have to at this point. Well, like it's nothing personal. It's just the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, like
Dan, you're back your guy.
Dan, you stink.
Just like Brendan should be backing Dan.
Yeah.
I will say this. I think for an extra bit of spice, you and Dan should have to pick games only being played on Thanksgiving this week. You guys have to pick amongst those 6 teams.
Well, I've already taken Minnesota. I've already taken... Who else is playing?
New England's playing.
I could take New England.
Because Minnesota's playing New England.
So I'd have to take New England there because I've already taken Minnesota.
For what it's worth, your games to pick between are Bills, Lions, Giants, Cowboys, Patriots, Vikings. Which also in Giants, Cowboys might actually be entertaining.
I've already taken Dallas. No, I can't do it. Can't do it. We got a lot to get to. We're going to talk about the Chiefs and Mahomes owning the AFC West coming up in the 1 o'clock hour. It is hour number 2 here on Mic'd Up. Thank you so much for joining us. Jake LeBon, Fulton Caster with you here on this Victory Monday. That is right. Chiefs getting the win last night in epic fashion over the Chargers of Los Angeles. Hit us up on our Big O Tires text line. 785-272-9429. Let us know what your thoughts on Twitter at SportsOn5A. Same thing on YouTube. Coming up, everyone loves the list. Thanksgiving sides. And that's more on the food aspect of things. Side dishes, Thanksgiving. We will rank them coming up. Also hear from head coach Andy Reid. Talk a little K-State coming up in the 2 o'clock hour, and a little overreaction, proper reaction. Right now, Team USA taking on Wales. That's right. World Cup. We are 6 minutes in. No score. And Team USA has had 2 set pieces that were honestly terrible. Can we get somebody to kick the ball higher than 3 feet off the ground that we have a chance? Did you see those 2, Fulton? Those were terrible. We had a corner kick, and then we had a free kick, and both of them were just horrible. Horrible. No chance. Yeah, no chance.
Give it some time, working on some kinks. The other problem is when it comes to the U.S., they have struggled lately. And when I say lately, like lately does not go to like 2 weeks. It goes like a longer time frame because that's how soccer works on the international scale. score from set pieces and do good things from set pieces.
Normally, they're excellent at those.
Well, it's been a while since they've been that way. This current iteration, their recent thing has been they can't seem to really figure that out and find that flow.
Well, really, the whole entire team right now is we can't score, period.
That's also incredibly fair.
They're like the Jets.
Honestly, a little bit. I don't know if the defense is as good as what the Jets is going on, but it's that similar idea of sometimes the great defensive performance is let down by a lack of offense. But yeah, no, if any of you out there are going to be watching USA soccer, just know that scoring from set pieces and doing good things off set pieces is going to be a struggle because it's been a struggle. So things like, those free kicks, those corners, things like that, things you want, which are still helpful. You still want to draw them. The U.S. lately has really been struggling to really figure that out. Maybe something will click here in the World Cup, but
final score of this match is either going to be 1-0 or 1-1.
Yep, I would be shocked if anyone gets 2 goals in this one.
I'm picking USA to win 2-1 because I'm trying to be optimistic.
That's fair. No, that's fair. No, this is with the style of play that both Wales and the Americans have. There's not going to be a lot of intense forward pressure, which is what you usually see out of teams that score a lot of goals. This feels like a game to where someone will probably score, but when they do it, it'll be probably off some kind of a counterattack. And just something will kind of give them a little bit of flowing momentum to the other side. But for the U.S., what they're doing right now, which is heavily controlling in the offensive third, that's what they need to kind of be their vibe if they're gonna keep with it.
Right now, Team USA is controlling the ball basically this entire time, but really
good possession percentage,
doing nothing with it. I mean, absolutely nothing with it. So
they're probing, they're being patient. It's the way that they've played as of late.
I think what you mean to say is that Wales is not very aggressive, and so somebody's got to have the ball. And right now, it's USA, and they're basically just kicking it back and forth to one another. Like that's what's happening right now.
Well, the U.S. just had an amazing scoring chance that they missed out on by a good play by Wales' goalie. Now they still got a chance. I promise at some point we'll get back to sports talk here, but Jake and I are going to be fast.
We're watching the World Cup.
I mean, not basically trying to give really, really late play-by-play on what's happening on our monitors here. The U.S. a couple of good scoring chances here early, which is good vibe. That a couple opportunities. Also, that was almost an own goal by Wales. I didn't see that. The Wales defender about headed that into his own net. He headed it right into the chest of his goalie. Well, so that was almost funny.
If they win this game, they have an excellent chance of advancing to the group stage.
What did Paul tell us? It's like 80-90% chance if you win your opening match that you go to the knockout round?
Yes. Not quite 90.
It's like 80-some% chance if you win your opening match in the group stage.
Here you go.
Find what I'm trying to reference.
84% of opening match winners advanced. 59% advanced after a draw. So both Wales and United States, if they draw, it would be each one of them has a 60% chance of advancing.
Because then it would just come down to what do they do against England and what they do against Iran.
So Team USA, hopefully
a win would be crucial.
From the Big O Tires text line, does the Team USA have cool looking swimming trunks? Team USA's jerseys are just so blah.
Yeah, they always are.
Just so blah.
It's
wow. They just don't look great. And Team USA just got a yellow card. So free kick.
Sergino Dest just got a yellow card. So that's not great.
So Team USA and Wales, the country, tied.
As Jake wants to make sure you know, it's the country.
Yes. Patrick Mahomes has never lost on the road against the AFC West.
Yeah. He's 14-0 in road divisional games. 14-0 when he has walked into Mile High, SoFi, and
either
Allegiant
or the Coliseum.
Yeah, or the Coliseum, because they actually first few seasons they had to play in the Coliseum. Either way,
That's incredible.
When he has walked into LA,
Yeah.
when he has walked into Vegas, and he's walked into Denver, he has never walked out the loser.
Correct.
That's ridiculous. And moreover, just overall against the AFC West, they can't beat him.
No. Since 2016, the Chiefs are 34-5 against the AFC West.
That's ridiculous.
Patrick Mahomes is 24-3 against the AFC West. The Chargers beat the Chiefs one time without Mahomes. That was the last game of the year.
Yeah. Good for them. They got their little celebratory thing there. They got their token win.
Mm-hmm.
But it's amazing because we think about this and the Chiefs are marching towards the 7th straight division title. And we think about them, we think, all right, that's awesome. 7 straight division titles, that's dynasty level, Patriot level stuff right there.
Yes.
But the way they're doing it is even more on that level of impressive. Because they're not doing it by skating by, finding ways to win by a game and a half, all these different things, tough battles. They'll have some tough games. But they're doing it by just beating everyone all the time. Like, these divisional races aren't close. It isn't like, they go into a game near the last end of the season against, Denver or Vegas or LA. And it's like, oh, well, if one of those teams wins or they're facing wins, they'll get the division. No, normally by mid-December, this thing's done. Like I said to start the show, we're at Thanksgiving and this race is over. That's unreal.
Patrick Mahomes right now leads the NFL in touchdown passes. And he lost arguably a top 3 wide receiver in the NFL. However you want to divvy him up, whether it be Justin Jefferson, Cooper Kupp, Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams. I think those are the top 4.
Yeah, probably.
They lost the guy who everybody thought was irreplaceable. And Patrick Mahomes is on pace for maybe his best year as a starting quarterback.
He's on pace to break Peyton Manning's single-season passing yards record.
Well, it helps that you've got the extra game.
That does.
But he ain't going to get the extra game.
Yeah, he's probably going to sit game 17 at this pace because they're not going to need him to play.
That as long as they don't, they have the 1 seed locked up. They have the 1 seed locked up. He will not play in that game. But he's got 28 touchdowns already. 28. They went on the road without their 3 best wide receivers and won a football game against the Chargers. Right now, Patrick Mahomes is the odds-on favorite to win the NFL MVP.
He's moved to minus odds at most sports books.
The only person who has a chance to catch him is Tua.
Yeah.
He is the only person to have a chance to catch Patrick Mahomes is Tua. That or Patrick Mahomes gets hurt. Jalen Hurts does not have the numbers to go up against Patrick Mahomes.
Jalen would have to go on fuego the rest of the way starting now. And his team do what it's doing on the field.
Well, the reason why I say that I don't think he has a chance is right now he's got 15 touchdowns. Now, I will say this, that he is a threat to run the football.
His rushing numbers help assuage some passing stats.
Yes. But the fact that he's got 15 passing touchdowns, this is a passing league.
Yeah, no, you're correct.
The only one who has a chance to pass Patrick Mahomes is Tua. And that's if he goes absolutely crazy with touchdowns and yards.
Yeah, he'd have to go scorched earth.
But I think this is his MVP to lose. And that's what he showed yesterday. Yeah. And let's discuss a little bit about Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce now is the first player with a 3 touchdown. He had 4 actually, but 3 touchdowns versus division opponents. So he had 3 earlier against the Raiders.
He had 4.
Or 4, but this is
you get your
3.
Point. Yeah, I know.
3 or more.
Yeah.
since 2004. Like, we're talking, he's got 7 touchdowns in 2 games against their in-division opponents who are supposed to know him better than anybody. And he finds a way to get it done. Nobody has ever gotten more 100-yard receiving games than Travis Kelce.
Most 100-yard receiving games by a tight end in NFL history.
Travis Kelce is 145 yards away from another 1,000-yard season.
He'll get that in, 2 weeks, barring anything crazy happening?
He leads the league in touchdowns with 11. The next touchdown that he catches will be a new career high with 12. It is he might get 16, 17 touchdowns this year.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to play the last game, so I think he's got 6 games left. So how many touchdowns is he going to get in 6 games? Like what you're seeing between Kelce and Mahomes is, Rice, Montana,
yeah.
Harrison, Manning. Like,
they're quickly cementing themselves.
Yeah. And Brady.
Yeah, they're cementing themselves as one of the greatest duos in the NFL history. At the quarterback pass catcher position. And we've said this a few times, and greatest of all time discussions are tough. They truly are. I think we make the people try to make them too simple too often. But man, is there truly a better tight end that's ever played the game of football?
No,
truly.
If you want to say at one point in time, Gronk was maybe more dominant, but
Gronk couldn't stay healthy.
But what Travis Kelce has done the last 3 years total, 41 games. So he's still got 6 more games this year. He's had 31 touchdowns in his last 41 games.
Mm-hmm.
And the one catch, not the one to win it. I'm talking about the one where he caught it, made 2 guys miss, ran down the sidelines.
His second touchdown.
His first one, great block by I don't remember who that was. I think it was Justin Watson, maybe.
Noah Gray.
Noah Gray, yeah, great.
Noah Gray
blocking
Noah Gray. 2 humans.
And he gets into the end zone. But the second touchdown was
he makes a great catch while the ball was hit by a defender as he catches into his body. And then with that, secures it, turns to his right, and just sprints past everybody. Like, it was a tremendous play. Travis Kelce is just... there's not words left to describe how great he is. And it's part of the reason why the Chiefs have been so dominant in the division. It's just, we talk about it. Just how do you beat this team? And they have shown that it's hard to beat them, and that one of the biggest things to be successful is if you can we think about the Patriots dynasty, and they won their Super Bowls and they had all their great things. But it all ended and began with the fact of the AFC East was theirs every year, and no one could fight for it. Like, it was a foregone conclusion they were winning the East every year. Now with the West, it's just, all right, cool. Who's going to get the wild card out of the West? Because we know the division title is going to Kansas City.
And I don't know if there is going to be a wild card.
There might not, because this division is so much worse than anyone thought, because 2 of the teams are led by morons at head coach and can't even play offense right. And then the other one perennially underachieves.
I do want to mention for the defense. I thought the defense played all right.
Yeah, they were okay.
They played all right. Chris Jones shows you why he is one of the best defenders in the NFL. No kidding. Chris Jones has a chance at Defensive Player of the Year.
He should be in the conversation.
And the reason why I bring this up is I think Micah Parsons is really the big odds-on favorite.
Yeah, probably.
But right now, Chris Jones has 9 sacks at the defensive tackle spot. He has been incredible. The final series of the game, I don't know if it was a quarterback draw that they were going to run or what, but Chris Jones single-handedly ended the very last game or last drive of the game. Stopped Chris Jones, then ended up with another pressure, had to throw it away, and that led to the interception. Chris Jones is an absolute monster.
He's insane.
It also goes to show you that last night, the rookies showed why they're rookies in the secondary. Mostly Brian Cook.
Yeah, Brian Cook. It was a
tough one.
It's not going to be a fun film session for him.
And it's not. I'm not saying.
Yeah, I'm not trying to pick on him or say he's going to be trash. It's just he hasn't had to play.
And so they picked on him, which was smart.
It happens.
3rd and 17. That was frustrating because the play that the Chargers ran was just run deep and let's hope something happens.
And Joshua Williams did the best he could.
The problem is that, one, he was man-to-man, but there was no safety help. Cook was the safety on that side. And when there's no Mike Williams,
you got to shade over to Keenan Allen a lot more.
And I go back to a lot of that is on the coaching staff.
Yeah.
Because if you are Spagnuolo, you need to tell Brian Cook, hey, shade over to Keenan Allen. Because Williams did. Now, it was a great move by Keenan Allen because he's a veteran. And
he looked like he was going to go outside, do that quick break back in, and Williams got turned. And that's just a veteran on a rookie.
But Cook was nowhere near the play. So it was essentially man-to-man coverage. And then the touchdown was also on Cook.
Yep.
I thought McDuffie played very well.
He did.
I thought Willie Gay did. I thought Nick Bolton. The Chargers against the Chiefs are a legitimate team. They're good.
When they play the Chiefs, they are.
They are good. And so that's why I thought the defense did enough in this game. And if you think about it, if Jerick McKinnon doesn't fumble the football, the Chiefs probably win that game by 10.
Yeah.
Because they probably go in and score, or at least kick the field goal, and they take care of business. But the Chiefs get a win. Coming up next, everyone loves the list. Thanksgiving sides coming up. Everyone loves the list. Thanksgiving sides edition. What do you like on your Thanksgiving plate? What do you got, Fulton? What's number 4?
Number 4 for me, I haven't been able to find the recipe since my grandmother passed away, but one day I will find it again. My grandmother's creamed peas were an elite side dish. They are fantastic. I know it sounds weird. They were good.
Creamed peas?
Yeah.
So like creamed corn, just creamed peas.
Basically.
Okay. All right.
Delicious.
All right. Number 4 for me. I think rolls.
They count. No, that counts for me.
Okay.
That's allowed.
Now, it's my mom's / my grandma's homemade, we call them buns.
Okay.
Like, you got any buns? Like B-U-N-S buns?
That's
like,
fair.
Or rolls.
That's fair. My dad says the same thing.
Like, they're legendary in my house.
No.
Like, legendary.
Yeah. Rolls are always allowed to be a side dish.
Okay.
Number 3 for me, stuffing or dressing, whatever thing you want to call it. Apparently, there's a difference. I like it.
Well, stuffing is in the bird. Dressing is
That is
out
what
of
I've
the bird.
learned.
I believe that's what
I believe that is a difference as well.
Number 3 for me, corn.
Okay.
I love
corn's
corn.
Good.
Especially if now cream style corn can be excellent if you do it right.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But
it takes some work.
I like corn. No question.
Corn's a good call. Number 2 for me, a classic staple. Give me some mashed potatoes. Just give me some potatoes. It's a good call. It's delicious. It's simple. It's basic. You don't need to get fancy with it. It is fantastic.
Number 2 for me, baked beans. I get made fun of a lot because we have baked beans.
Okay.
I love baked beans. They've always been in my household. So baked beans.
Oh, that's a good call. Number 1 for me, a classic staple, and it will forever be good. And you should always have to set your table. Mac and cheese. Give me some mac and cheese at Thanksgiving. Slap down my with my ham and my turkey. I'm in a good day.
Can't do mac and cheese because my son eats that like 4 times a week. Every time I see mac and cheese, I want to throw up.
That's fair.
No, mashed potatoes and brown gravy.
Okay. Fair enough.
Thanksgiving is brown gravy. Every other day is white gravy. But mashed potatoes, the GOAT side. Coming up next, we're going to hear from head coach Andy Reid. In the 36th minute in Qatar, in the first match for Team USA in Group B, Tim Weah with the goal. There will be no shutout. Wales not good on land, apparently, as Tim Weah with a beautiful goal, courtesy of Christian Pulisic, and the Team USA on the board, baby. That was a beautiful pass.
Yeah, that
from Captain America to Timmy Weah.
That through ball from Christian Pulisic right there was gorgeous. And then a great little one touch by Tim Weah to knock it forward, because with everything closing on him, Weah had one shot to alter that trajectory, because he had a Welsh defender and the keeper closing in on him. He didn't have a chance to dribble that numerous times. It was a get there and just tap it one way and get it going. That was beautiful. Well done. And if you're the U.S., this is right where you want to be.
That
you are
right there,
where you want to be.
That right there is, to give a perfect example, that right there is the pass to Jody Fortson down the sideline that Mahomes threw, except Fortson was able to keep his feet and score a touchdown.
Yeah.
That was the equivalent. What you just saw is the equivalent of a perfect pass from the best player maybe ever in America in Pulisic.
Mm-hmm.
Mahomes might be the greatest passer of the football ever, threw it to Fortson. The difference is Fortson fell down.
Yeah.
And Timmy Weah kept his feet and scored the goal. Like,
yeah.
That is how, like, when you saw Patrick Mahomes throw that, even my wife was like, oh my goodness, that was like right in stride, right?
Yeah.
Like, you just
Beautiful.
know what's good because you've been around it. That pass right there would be like, that was like vintage Tiger from the bunker, 180 yards out, and drops it 5 feet from the pin. And you go, oh my gosh, what a shot by Tiger. And then Tiger makes, the 5-footer.
Yeah.
And he makes the birdie. Like, that's what that was. The approach was so much better. And then the finish was a good one. It'd be more like let's say like a 5-foot bender. You know, he had some break there because that was a good finish by Timmy
that was
Weah.
an easy finish for Timmy Weah with the defender closing in along with the keeper. But the U.S. now up 1-0 on Wales, 38th minute. And now this is kind of how the USA wants it to be, because they're when they can get possession back, they've been doing a good job of controlling possession.
Well, and also now this is going to open it up. This will be a huge point now, because Wales knows the numbers that we do. The head coach of Wales, or the manager of Wales, knows that if you lose this first match, you are in deep trouble. 11% of the time, if you lose your first match, you advance. And so what Wales is now going to do is they got to pressure. They have to stop, trying to be the New York Jets or the Patriots.
They got to get out more on their front foot now.
They got to be a lot more aggressive, and that's going to open things up. So either one, Team USA is going to go up 2-0 and be in full control, or yikes, this game just turned into, this is going to be so much more fun to watch. A lot more fun to watch. So that is exciting. Team USA. That was pretty.
It was very happy for the Americans.
We'll get to, we're going to hear from Andy Reid. He spoke to the media today, did not speak very long, but here is what Big Red had to say today.
Injuries for you right now, but we'll have some results here a little bit later. Good win for our football team. I guess good team. Seems like every game comes down to the end with this group when we play them. A lot of good individual efforts, good team efforts on each side of the ball and special teams. It was a heck of a football game. Anyways, with that, time's yours.
Hey, Andy. You talked after the game last night that you really need to appreciate guys like Kelce because they get old and they won't be around forever. But so far, he seems to have avoided that, the aging thing. What is it about him that it's kind of allowed him, at least so far, to beat Father Time?
I know he made a cognizant effort this year of coming back in great shape. He maintained that all the way through the offseason and into training camp. So I think that's helped him. That especially for this year. Last year he came in a little bit heavy and kind of worked through it. This year he came in phenomenal shape.
Hey, Andy. Last night, Travis mentioned something about noticing the way Derwin was playing him as far as on his outside shoulder and the routes that, I assumed that took away as far as the verticality and going outside. Is that a conversation you guys have on the sideline? Is that something you're able to notice? Is that something he picks up and spots to you? Because I assume that's one of the reasons you thought that the drag route might have a little bit of success there late.
Yeah, we did see that. And we're always aware of how they're trying to play him. And we call it butching them. So they'll come in and try to really hammer them, but with what kind of leverage they're trying to do that with. And Derwin was playing him a little bit more outside leverage. He changed it up a little bit, but he played like mostly outside leverage. And we figured, even though it's tight and he's still trying to hit him, that Kelce could set it up, and that was a little bit part of it. Also, the man coverage stuff. They really jumped into quite a little bit of man coverage. So that was also part of it.
Let's go next to Todd Lebo. Go ahead, Todd.
Hey, Coach. How you doing today?
Good, Todd.
Okay, so last night you talked about this a little bit, next man up mentality and all that, because you had some injuries, before the game, and then you had some during the game. I just wonder if you can go into a little more about what the makeup of your guys is that allows, especially the young players, to maybe not get all the reps in the practice and then jump right in there in the game and contribute and make plays. What it is that you guys like about those guys who are able to do that?
Yeah, so I would tell you, Todd, that it's good coaching. I think the coaches do a nice job. They're patient with the guys, and they're teachers. But I would also tell you that their peers, especially the veteran players, try to help the guys right when they come in. So we don't just say you're a rookie, you go over here, or you're trying to get our job, go over here. The players, I give them a lot of credit for helping teach these guys, and they don't have to do that, but they've been very willing. I go back to just Alex Smith and how he handled Pat, and Alex was kind of one of our first guys here, so everybody saw how he did it and just kind of followed right along.
Hey, Brad, I'll have a second one follow up if I can. Hey, going back, Andy, to what Sam was asking about with that throw to Kelce. Peter King reported that was the same play that you guys ran against them to win the game against the Chargers last year too. Can you just go over that play call and kind of explain what happened there?
Yeah, I know Kelce said that. It really was. It was the same play. I mean, it was doctored up a little bit with emotion, but that combination with Watson and Kelce there has been good since training camp. On the crossing route, really, Watson's the primary on it, but it normally comes to number 2 on the shallow cross there that Kelce got. But Watson's also a big part of that play and how he works inside. And he kind of creates a bit of a wall in there where the defender has to make up his mind. Is he going to go over or under it, or how's he going to handle that? So normally it throws him off by a step. But but to answer your question, I mean, it was basically the same play.
Great. And a lot of national buzz too about the throw that Patrick made to Jody Fortson. I just wondered if you got a chance to look at that one on film and what you thought about that throw.
No, I did. No, that was a thing of beauty. That was a great throw, great catch. Jody was rolling. I mean, he was full stride, and he has some very long strides, and he was full throttle there. And to be able to go down and get that the way he did was beautiful. That's a big time play by him, big time throw by Patrick.
Good morning, Coach. And Brad, I have a quick second one, if you don't mind. Was wondering, just for your take on the development of Nick Bolton. You guys said goodbye to Anthony Hitchens, and he seemed to really become that glue guy for the defense, just his development in the system there with Spags.
Yeah, so Hitch is another one of those guys that helped Bolton out. I mean, just on being a pro and on and off the field, the things you do to prepare, and nobody did it better than Hitch that way. I mean, he was he spent the time studying, and so Bolton's just carried that up another notch. I mean, he prepares like crazy. He doesn't talk a whole lot. He's a quiet guy, but on the field, he gets you where you're supposed to be, and he does it with authority, and he plays like crazy. I mean, he plays like a tiger, man. Doggone it.
And then just the second quick one, Lucas Niang's day to be activated is coming up. Have you seen enough to maybe get him in the mix here? I know that you guys got to make a decision pretty soon here.
Yeah, I'll talk to Brett. I haven't talked to Brett today, but we'll talk on that and just see where we're at with that. But he's made some nice progress over the last couple of weeks, and I'm not telling you that he'd be the starter, but he I think he's ready to get in probably the 2 deep. We'll have to talk to the kid too. So.
Hey, Coach, we've talked before about the roster turnover during the season and with the number of rookies on this team, that your special teams unit is pretty young, and you've had rookies handling most of the return duties too. How have you seen that group maturing, and do you see that there's still room for them to learn and kind of put aside some of those rookie mistakes?
Yeah, they're getting better. There were a couple of hiccups last night, but there were some good plays too. I mean, in there that that helped us with field position. So they'll every rep they get, they're gonna get better. And we do have a lot of the young guys on the special teams.
that is head coach Andy Reid as he spoke to the media today. Special teams. Does Dave Toub coach special teams? Like, I know he is the coach, but does he actually help coach? Like, I feel like what Pacheco did was the opposite of what you're coached. I'm assuming at some point in time, Dave Toub was like, hey, if the ball is headed towards the sideline, okay, if you catch it with the foot out of bounds, it's out of bounds. If me, generic guy on his couch, knows it, then I would like to think that Dave Toub knows it. Therefore, if Dave Toub knows it, then Dave Toub should tell his returner, the only one he has. And here's the thing. Pacheco did not do kickoffs in college. He didn't. So, I don't know, Dave, maybe go up to Pacheco and be like, hey, this is something that is taught every week at the college level. I know this because the Washburn special team coach tells his guys this. I know this because I know the special teams coach. And I brought that up. I was like, do you guys ever do that? He goes, yeah, we talk about it all the time. Situations when they kick off. What do you do? If it goes towards the sideline and it's there and it looks like it is, catch it, but make sure you're out of bounds. Like, it almost like he did the opposite. He like a receiver. He caught it and then stepped out of bounds. Like, what? What are you doing?
So I'll say this in the special teams thing, because I know there's been a lot of discussion about how the Chiefs special teams is played and the issues that they've had. I know Dave Toub has come under a lot of fire for this. He also has a special teams unit made of so many young guys. Like, yes, I get your point. Pacheco should know that. And I got $20 that Dave Toub has told Pacheco that numerous times. It's also the heat of the moment in primetime football for a rookie.
Yeah.
They make mental mistakes. They screw up.
This is happening a lot, though.
But one, that is Pacheco's first screw up on special teams returning the football. Pacheco's been perfectly fine returning the football all year. Like, he has set up returns. He's moved through his blocks. He's rarely been called for any sort of weird penalty. He's rarely returned kicks he shouldn't return. He's rarely flubbed those things and had issues there. But this is his first screw up. And I get our whole entire thing is, well, Sky Moore this, Sky. And I will agree. Dave Toub consistently putting out Sky Moore out there? Yes. If you want to critique him for that, go ahead. Now, in this past game against LA, he had no other option. He lost Tony and didn't have Hardman. And McDuffie hasn't practiced returning punts all season since he was hurt so much.
Well, no, he should be, because before practice he should be catching punts all the time.
But you don't know what's happening there. You don't know what McDuffie's doing.
I know how the practice schedule works, at least.
You know how it should work, but you do not know with McDuffie's injury if they wanted to pull him off of punts.
Oh, you're talking about McDuffie?
Yes.
I thought you were talking about Moore.
No, Sky Moore's been still practicing punts.
Gotcha.
No, I know he's been doing it. No. So, that was my point of, you guys can claim what you want for Moore. He had to return punts in the game against LA because there was no other bodies.
He had no other bodies.
But
he let one of them drop. That was in coverage, too.
And I get it. If you want to make that criticism, I get it. And I will listen to that one. All the others, though, it's a young special teams unit that, Butker missing field goals. That's just, you can't blame anyone but Butker missing field goals.
It's not that. I'm not blaming Butker because that's what Butker does. No, he was lights out yesterday, which tip of the cap. I just expect more from special teams guru. That's all. Because
and that's fair. But again, he has so many young guys on the special teams unit and so much turnover on that special teams unit.
My expectations are high because all I hear is he's the best special teams coach.
And that's fair.
They have had so many special teams mess ups this year. And you said he's done a lot of things right? So he's doing what he's supposed to do.
Yes, Pacheco. Yes.
Yeah. So I'm not just going to be like, wow, just keep on doing what you're doing. No, there has to be some accountability there.
No, I agree.
So that's why it's this is the worst special teams unit by far of the Dave Toub era.
No, I completely agree. My overarching point, and I do not disagree, there needs to be accountability. There needs to be accountability. Pacheco on that play, someone needs to make sure to tell him, no, you got to be smarter. When I watched him catch it, I got mad. I was like, let it drop. That was going to bounce out of bounds, let it drop, all those different things. Like, I get that. I think people need to stop, like, it's not a large sect, but the sect of Chiefs fandom being like, well, we just need to fire Dave Toub. Y'all need to go get your brains checked. Like, one really bad special teams year did not undo a career of this usually being a very good unit. Have they been worse than ever this year than in the Dave Toub era? 100%.
Oh, yeah, they're
Michael
big
Burton
trash.
at the end of the half should have taken a knee and given the team time.
Yeah.
Like, he shouldn't have done this in up back. Like, they have to be smarter. I completely agree.
Mm-hmm.
But to all of a sudden act like we need to have a conversation about Dave Toub's job security, I think is asinine.
I'm not calling him to be fired.
I know you're not.
But
Other people are. And
I am
it's
wondering
baffling.
if he's doing his job. Right now, Team USA
They're doing their job.
at the break. Yes. Up against Wales 1-0 in the World Cup. Game number 1 of Group B for Team USA. Christian Pulisic with the pass. Tim Weah with the nifty little jolt of a kick to the back of the net. Up 1-0. We'll get a timeout. We'll talk a little K-State, KU football, overreaction, proper reaction coming up. It is the final hour of Mic'd Up on this Victory Monday, and we are just a few 45 minutes away from a double Victory Monday over the last, 24 hours, as the Chiefs get the victory last night. They are now up 3 games in the division, still the number 1 seed in the AFC to beat the Chargers. Last drive by Patrick Mahomes. And Team USA is up 1-0. That's 1-0 over Wales. That is right, the country of Wales. Tim Weah with the goal in the 36th minute on a pass from Christian Pulisic. Team USA up 1-0.
Things you absolutely love to see.
Love to see right now, no question. Jake and Fulton Caster with you on this Monday. Hit us up on our Big O Tires text line, 785-272-9429. Hit us up on our Twitter at SportsOn580 and YouTube. Go to YouTube, search in there, SportsOn580. Click on it, click subscribe. Love to get that. All of our recaps from all the games over the weekend. Not everybody's a soccer fan. I understand that. I do. I'm not upset about that. From the Big O Tires text line, soccer talk with the sleeping emoji and then the Z's emoji. I get it. It's not for everybody. And that's okay. That's all right. I like soccer. I've grown on. And this is a guy, like, I'm the guy who's supposed to hate soccer. Like, I'm the guy who's like, soccer, boo. I played, high-level football. I'm supposed to be, football is more important than soccer. Oh, what do you need a goalie for? Like, I'm supposed to be the guy that hates it. Like, my demographic is supposed to be the guy that hates it.
You 110%.
I love the game of soccer.
Oh, it's incredibly entertaining.
It's a fun game. Plus the World Cup, man. How can you not get excited? This is like the Olympics.
Yeah.
Right?
National team games are fun.
It's like the Olympics, but if the Olympics took like a lot of Coke and it was just wired,
I'm pretty sure at some point the Olympics were a little bit like that.
You know what I mean? Just everybody they're so passionate across the country, but the United States. But that's changing. But
the U.S. is getting better.
Team USA up 1-0. We'll get to overreaction, proper reaction. But the Kansas State Wildcats.
That game was a doozy.
We are 1 K-State win away over KU for a Big 12 title game appearance for the Cats and a 9-3 season for Kansas State. The game Saturday in Morgantown, the first quarter was the drunkest quarter that I have ever seen.
That game took like 8 shots of Jaeger and said, woo, let's party.
It had pick sixes by both teams in the first half, big time runs, big time pass plays, just gashing plays left and right. And at the end of the first quarter, it's 28-19. 2 missed PATs by West Virginia. And then in the second quarter, Ty Zentner, shout out to Pika, Shawnee Heights. Ty Zentner blasts one from 53.
That was awesome.
1 second left, and you're just like, perfect way to end the game or end the first half. 41-25. First of all, I don't know what is more surprising, K-State scoring 41 and a half or giving up 25. And in the second half, they got sober, is what happened.
Yeah, I don't know what they did at halftime.
Said,
Someone had a couple Bloody Marys and some grease food and slaps to the faces.
They here's some water, go lie down. And they did.
Goodness gracious.
But
the over damn near hit in the first quarter.
Yes. But the thing that stood out for me in this game is Will Howard is still Dan Marino. Will Howard throwing the ball down the field and his guys catching it and getting yards after the catch. The best part about this game, the best part was Will Howard threw an interception. Now, it was a 50-50 interception because I thought Cade Warner kind of left a little bit, faded a little bit.
Yeah.
And didn't try to, hold his ground and go back to the ball. But it was also a very, very close pass by Will Howard. But it was a terrible pass, and it was a terrible result. And because of that, the game was 14-13. That's the score of the game. K-State's up by 1. All right. Will Howard threw his first real bad pick. The one pick against TCU. I'm not going to fault Will Howard for that. When they were down, he's just trying to make a play.
Yeah.
This is the beginning of the game. You're up by 7. All of a sudden, poof, you're up by 1. How's he going to react? How's his team going to react? And they reacted fantastic. Backup DJ Giddens, 49-yard run, got the hole, and he wasn't going to be beat. And then the offense. When Will Howard is that quarterback, Ben Sinnott is Travis Kelce.
Apparently.
Because he is a completely different fullback tight end, if you will, when he's in the game. But the offense, Will Howard completed 19 passes for essentially 300 yards. That's incredible. It really, really is. It's incredible. And so this offense, Deuce Vaughn didn't get going as much as you'd like, but the offense got enough. Giddens helped out, but the offense got enough from the passing game. They really did. Will Howard, look at the numbers that Will Howard is putting up right now in his last 4 games. All right. Because he played against TCU, Oklahoma State, Baylor, West Virginia. Didn't play against Texas. He's thrown in 4 games, thrown for 1,000 yards, 11 touchdowns, and to me, because we watch the games, we just don't box score, he threw 1 interception. That was the game against West Virginia. Because the game against TCU, at the end of the game, he's just trying to make a play. Yeah. I got no problem with that. Go down swinging. You know what I mean? Go down chucking it down the field. And he's got 2 rushing touchdowns. This offense has been completely different. You did what you needed to do offensively, was go up against a West Virginia team that had given up points. And that is what K-State did. Defensively, you take away the pick 6. You take away the touchdown at the end of the game because it was 48-25 with 10 minutes to go in the game. It's a 3-score game. The game was over. It was really 48-19. Don't include the pick 6 for the defense.
Yeah.
They gave up 19 points. Pick 6 doesn't count against the defense for me. And then at the end of the game, when you're up 48-25, you're just trying to get the game over with. Don't do anything crazy. But they got pressure. By the way, defensive player of the week, Brendan Mott, mind you, with 3 sacks and 3 tackles for loss. That's incredible. But K-State is K-State beats KU or Texas loses, then K-State is in the Big 12 championship game. Texas plays, I don't even know who Texas plays. They play Baylor.
They could lose.
They could lose. They, no question, can lose. But this K-State team is playing well. I do think the loss of Kobe Savage early on, and, oh gosh, who was the kid that got hurt? The backup. He was the one who got the pick 6. Why can't I think of his name? Help me out here. Not Cheatham. Was it Cheatham? Yeah.
Sincere Mason with the pick 6. Yeah.
Sincere Mason.
Yeah.
When he went down, I hope he's going to be okay. I haven't seen any word if not, but I think they will miss Kobe Savage. I do. He was a really good player. Still is a good player. But that might be a factor. But this K-State team right now, I guarantee you TCU does not want to see K-State. I guarantee you TCU does not want to see this double passing attack now that they got with Will Howard and Sinnott and Knowles and Brooks and Warner. They don't want to see them right now. They don't. And that's what's exciting about Kansas State. And here's the other crazy thing. TCU, with what else occurred this weekend with Tennessee losing.
Yep.
If TCU beats Iowa State, K-State is guaranteed the Sugar Bowl. If K-State beats KU, which right now, I saw the opening line was 11.5. Has it changed?
I thought I saw it at 9.
So it has already betted down to 9?
12. I'm sorry. I looked at it wrong. It's up to 12.
Well, it was started out at 11, I think 11.5.
Okay. Well, it's at 12.
K-State should beat KU, but this is not a gimme. Now,
it's not a gimme.
Let me know how healthy Jalen Daniels
is.
Per
landslide poll today, the health is looking good on both Jalen Daniels and Jason B.
Okay. So that will make the game a little bit more competitive.
You should, in theory, probably have a fully healthy Jalen Daniels, who was starting to feel himself a bit more at the end of that game against Texas.
The problem was for KU, real quick, is that KU couldn't stop me and you from running for 200 yards.
No.
I'm so mad right now that I didn't bet Bijan Robinson to have a 2-touchdown game. 3-touchdown game, a little bit tough to do, but he was going to score 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, he got 4.
Yeah, he just steamrolled everybody.
Yeah,
This was a game where it was the bad part of KU went up against a very, very good part of an opposing team.
Yeah.
And that's the first time that this has happened for KU, where your offense wasn't clicking because you didn't really have a healthy quarterback. Your defense, the worst thing for KU's defense is Bijan Robinson and that Texas running attack. The worst possible spot. But K-State is a win away from KU. And if TCU beats Iowa State, and that game is at home, K-State's guaranteed the Sugar Bowl. Because if TCU beats K-State in the Big 12 title game,
TCU's 13-0 going to the playoffs.
TCU is the 2 seed.
Quite possibly.
No, there is no quite possibly.
Listen, I will never, ever, ever, ever think the College Football Playoff Committee could not put a 13-0 TCU at 3 or 4 just because they think the Big 12 is weak. I agree with you. They should probably be the 2, given everything else that's happening. I don't disagree. Same time, it is still humans ranking this.
Yes, I agree.
And they could, either way. But because remember, either Michigan or Ohio State's losing this weekend.
Yeah. No, this could get...
One of them's losing.
This could get real...
And with Tennessee losing, that opens up a weird door.
No, they're out.
I know. Yeah, Tennessee's gone.
You can't you can't give up 63 points to Spencer Rattler and South Carolina.
You can't be a 2-loss non-conference champion.
So what makes this
See
interesting is what happens now with Clemson.
Yep. Because North Carolina lost to Georgia Tech.
Yeah. USC.
Yep.
Ohio State, Michigan. I would say they won't be the 2 seed. They'll be the 3 seed. TCU. I messed up there because Ohio State and Michigan both will. Whoever wins that's going to stomp whoever in the
whatever
Big 12
person
title
from
game.
the other Big Ten division wants to come in there.
Yeah. And so I think it'll be Georgia 1.
Ohio State or Michigan, whoever is the undefeated Big Ten champion, 2. TCU 3.
And then the question is, who becomes 4? If USC,
if they're a one-loss Pac-12 champion, it's USC.
They're going to make it in.
There should be no other question.
If TCU loses to K-State, K-State gets the bid to the Sugar Bowl, and now all hell breaks loose.
Yeah, because I don't know what to do with the 12-1 TCU.
No, that probably is TCU's not going to make it. But what's funny is the narrative. TCU, holy smokes. Congratulate TCU because they executed the football fire drill to perfection. I don't know what Sonny Dykes is doing at the end of the game.
I know exactly what Sonny Dykes is doing. I put this on Twitter. I know for a fact what Sonny Dykes was doing. He thought Dave Aranda was going to call a timeout twice. Those 2 running plays, he 100% thought Dave Aranda was calling a timeout. That first one, that's why they did that spike after the first down run. They thought Dave Aranda was calling a timeout. And when Dave Aranda didn't, he was like, we need to save clock. So spike it. When they ran it on 3rd down with no timeouts, he 110% thought Dave Aranda was going to call a timeout. So because the thought would be, well, Aranda's going to call a timeout. So that way Aranda gets a chance to answer the field goal. That is what Dykes was thinking.
I guess.
There is no other logical explanation other than Sonny Dykes fully believed Dave Aranda was going to call a timeout. And Dave Aranda, honestly, I respect it, was like, no.
No.
He said, I'm going to make you do a fire drill.
Yeah, well, I would have called a timeout because...
I would have called a timeout because of the theory of I want a chance to answer the kick.
See, I don't think there was going to be time. And his offense was not throwing the ball down the field
and
at
that's
all.
fair. No, that's fair.
I think Dave Aranda just said, nope, we're going to let this game come down to a college kicker. And
that's fair.
And
no, that is 100% fair.
That unit, they ran out there, got set. The kicker hammered it. But you got to love the national media. Michigan, great win. Oh, man, what they kicked the field goal at the end of the game. They beat a tough-nosed Illinois team. That's a good win. TCU, same thing that Michigan did. The exact same thing that Michigan did.
Yep.
TCU, frauds. There ain't no difference. They're frauds.
More importantly,
they're not frogs. They're frauds.
This is what's more importantly. Michigan had that scare at the big house. TCU was at least on the road.
Yeah, that
Michigan was at home against and beat a 7-4 Illinois team. TCU went on the road and beat a now 6-5 Baylor team. Like that's my thing that I get frustrated with is that TCU doesn't get their I think there's too much weight sometimes put into, they escaped with a close win. They're, all these different factors and not being dominating, at least in some aspects. Because here's my thing with Michigan. Who the hell has Michigan played?
Penn State.
End list.
No, that's it. Unless you count Illinois, but their offense.
No, end list. No, Illinois can't play offensive football. Their defense is great. Good for Illinois. They can't play offensive football. They're a better version of Iowa. That's what Illinois is. Illinois is slightly fancier Iowa. That's all they are.
Big save, Matt Turner. Oh, sorry.
No, it's.
Oh, Matt Turner. My God.
You gotta love live soccer during this. But no,
God.
That is my thing when it comes to people. Let's comparing the Michigan and TCU thing specifically. TCU's played better teams than Michigan. And everyone wants to go, Michigan might be undefeated. Michigan's doing all this good stuff. Michigan survives against the tough, blah, blah, blah. TCU's played better teams. Michigan has played quite literally one good team. And you can give me Illinois' defense makes them a tough opponent, and it does. But Illinois can't score.
No, they can't.
Illinois cannot score.
What's funny is, do you know who has the toughest schedule or strength of schedule or no
strength of record?
Strength of record.
I do not.
TCU.
Yeah.
TCU.
And then everyone
TCU has played better teams.
Yeah.
Now, Ohio State, Michigan. Whoever loses that game, should they be in over TCU? In my opinion, no. Especially if TCU runs the rack and they have beaten K-State twice. They've beaten Texas. They've beaten Oklahoma State. They've beaten Oklahoma. They're the Big 12, that would be beating K-State, who will be a 9-win team twice. Texas will be an 8-win team once. Oklahoma State will be an 8-win team. I think that's good enough to get you in the college football playoff. Michigan State, like the Big Ten East now is puffed up a little bit. Penn State's a good win. Penn State, you ready or not? That's like beating Kansas State. That's a good win.
Yeah,
that's a good win. But if Michigan or Ohio State get blown out, now the problem with this is if Blake Corum can't go, I don't think
it'll be tough for Michigan.
I don't think Michigan can win.
It'll be tough because Ohio State, very good football team. Very, very, very good football team, and it's at the shoe. But this is my thing. This game decides who gets to go for the Big Ten. Because the Big Ten championship doesn't matter. Because do you know who likely Ohio State or Michigan? Because whoever wins this is going to win the East.
Isn't it Purdue
or Iowa?
Yeah.
It's Purdue or Iowa. Seriously, that's what they get to face.
So
it's a joke.
And I look at now if it is a field goal game and it comes down to it, like I'll hear the argument.
Yeah, like
I will.
If Ohio State Michigan comes down to the last play of the game, I'll hear an argument that even the loser deserves to get it. I'll hear that argument because that loser's one loss will be at the buzzer to the likely undefeated Big Ten champion. I'll hear that.
It's the same situation. Let's say Georgia beats LSU. LSU's got 3 losses. They ain't getting in.
No.
All right. Then it comes down to you've got 2 teams who are Georgia and let's say Ohio State wins. Because I think they're going to.
Yeah, there's your 1 and your 2.
Okay. Then it comes down to for the next 2 spots. Who are the best 1-loss teams? You're going to have 3 teams. It's and it might not even be 3 teams. TCU might get in even if they don't. If USC loses.
Yeah.
Because if USC loses, they're done. They've got 2 losses. Oregon's got now 3 losses. Utah's not making it in.
Oregon only has 2.
So Oregon's got 2 losses. Therefore, to me, TCU might get in with 1 loss because it'd be let's say Michigan gets in, and then you have to argue, okay, it's either Clemson or TCU with 1 loss because Michigan will get in because they got 1 loss, so it'll be Clemson or TCU. Well, the answer there is TCU.
It should be
because they played a much tougher schedule. What TCU needs right now, they need to win out, and they need either Oregon. Or who does USC play this week?
USC this week plays Notre Dame.
They need Notre Dame to beat them.
That'd be helpful.
They just need them to lose, and then they have a chance that like Tennessee really screwed themselves because you could argue if TCU
a 1-loss Tennessee team with their only loss being to Georgia
would have gotten in.
Yeah, I would have believed that.
Yeah,
and my thing with because like. USC, I think, is because if you have undefeated TCU, they're getting in. The committee has never left out an undefeated conference champion, which is the right thing to do. If you're undefeated and win a Power 5 conference championship title, you're in. You get it. And that last spot, to me, at that phrase, if Georgia, Ohio State in this scenario, and TCU are all undefeated, your last spot is 1-loss USC Pac-12 champion, 1-loss non-Big Ten champion Michigan, or probably 1-loss ACC champion Clemson. And I'll be real, I give it to USC. Like, even if that game comes into the wire with Michigan, they played nobody. USC, at least with how the Pac-12 shaped out, has some big wins. Plus, they would have to probably beat Oregon.
Yeah.
Because the Pac-12 did something right for once, and they don't have divisions this year.
No.
It is best 2 teams play each other, which right now is USC Oregon.
And the reason, I'll say this. I don't necessarily agree with undefeated Power 5 automatically goes in. The reason I say they deserve to go in because of there's quality teams in the Big 12.
Yeah.
Okay.
Eight of the 10 teams in the Big 12 are going bowling.
Yeah. It's not as if and I'll liken it to Division II. It's not like that because in the GLVC, Indy qualified because they got the automatic bid because they won their division.
Yeah.
Their division stinks. It's not good.
Yeah.
They have one good team. Or excuse me, they have one okay team in Truman State. They beat Truman State. The best team in the GLVC got past midfield 3 times against Pitt. So the conference has to be good.
Yeah,
that's why we're talking Clemson right now has no chance at a 1-loss champion. No one's picking Clemson over a 1-loss TCU, Michigan, Ohio State, or USC if they all got 1 losses. They are ranked last because the ACC stinks. There's no good teams in the ACC.
There's very few.
And that's the reason why.
No,
I'm all right with that. But K-State's going to the Sugar Bowl if they win and TCU win. End of discussion.
As long as TCU beats Iowa State and goes 12-0 in the regular season, and K-State beats KU, K-State, you're going to the Sugar Bowl. 100%. Because you are either going to be the second best Big 12 team, and TCU's going to the playoff, and therefore you get the bowl.
Great situation.
Or you win the Big 12 title, and therefore you're the best.
Coming up next, Team USA, 20 minutes away from a monster 3-point. I'm telling you, Matt Turner was a set piece for Wales. Scary one, header, but Matt Turner flipped it over the crossbar. Great play by our goalie. Fantastic. Coming up next, a little overreaction, proper reaction here on Mic'd Up. Six here on Mic'd Up. Jake and Fulton Caster with you on this Victory Monday. The Kansas City Chiefs take care of business. Team USA still up 1-0 in the 76th minute. Couple substitutions for the boys in white. But I tell you this, they're going to have opportunities these last 15 minutes because Wales, they are playing wayly far apart from each other.
Get out.
I will be gone tomorrow and Wednesday, but I'll be here a little bit tomorrow because I got to head down to Oklahoma for Washburn Hoops tomorrow. So I will be on a little bit tomorrow, and then Wednesday I'm taking off. So you will get your wish, Fulton.
That was horrible.
That
wasn't one of your good dad jokes. That was just bad.
They really are playing really far apart. Like, there's a lot of I think Team USA is going to get a goal here to finish in the next 15 minutes.
For goal differential, that'd be nice.
They're going to win 2-0.
Goal differential, that'd be nice.
I'm telling you. And they should. If you lose right now, Wales has an 11% chance of getting out of the group stage. If this score holds over the next 15 minutes, they will have an 11% chance of getting out of the group stage. So go for broke. What did you did all this work to qualify for the World Cup, and you're going to be like, yeah, let's just take her in. Great chance. No, you got to attack. You got to risk it for the biscuit.
They will.
They have been. Team USA hasn't been able to stop. Now the question is, can Team USA hold the lead? That's the biggest concern I have because you're going to have a lot of pressure coming Team USA's way. So can you clear it when you need to? And can you the counterattack? But right now it looks like Team USA is just holding on for dear life.
Something to say you have to do at the end here. You just got to kind of hold and hope and pray.
Yep. Boy, the official in this one is getting an earful from both teams. If these were NFL refs, we would be playing like 5-on-5 because the one official who called a foul, personal foul call on Chris Jones. Yeah. The stuff that he would have heard, his ears would be bleeding because the amount of just back and forth yelling at the officials in this one is pretty incredible.
It's not been great.
It's not been great. All right. Overreaction, proper reaction. No New York football team is going to make the playoffs.
I need to clarify here. No football team of New York State or New York City.
New York Jets or the Giants. Oh, Buffalo. Okay.
They're a New York football team.
Yeah, okay. You know what I meant. The Jets.
With the way you asked your question, I was curious.
The Jets or the Giants. The Giants are 7-3. They are the 6th seed. The Jets are now out of the playoffs. They're 6-4 of the 8th seed. Jets or Giants, neither of them will make the playoffs.
I think it teeters on an overreaction. Because I think the Giants will still be able to get it done. I think the Jets' goose is cooked. Because they can't score. Like, they will lose more games because they cannot find the end zone.
Here are the Jets' schedule the rest of the way. Bears, at Vikings, at Bills, Lions, at Seahawks, at Dolphins.
Oh, boy.
They'll
get lucky and beat the Bears if they don't have Justin Fields.
That ain't happening, fam.
If Justin Fields plays, I pick the Bears. As good as that Jets defense is, if Justin Fields plays, I pick the Bears over the Jets.
He's playing well.
Because the Bears will find a way to score and win the game. The Jets can't. They cannot score.
Yeah, but Fields has to be 100% because his
legs. No, I agree. But the Vikings, I would honestly pick the Vikings, even though I think the Vikings are not good. Bills are probably going to should be able to beat the Jets in that rematch.
No.
Yes, Jake.
Penalty in the box on the USA. We are down to
not good.
10 minutes to go in this game. Team USA committing a foul. And that's a foul. He went right through the legs of Bale and he flopped like a whale. And yeah, that you're going to get called for that every time. What? That's frustrating there.
U.S. is going to be unhappy about it. They're going to be mad. That is a far too aggressive challenge in the box. Far too much contact, and you're making it before the ball is there.
Body him up.
Yeah,
the guy who
Reem has got to be
8
smarter.
games a year.
Reem has got to be more intelligent than that. All right, well, this is what's getting very important and very curious because Wales gets the penalty.
Exciting.
Yeah, we'll give it to a prep reaction in a minute. Jake and I have a penalty kick to watch real quick.
I know.
This is important for the Americans because it's not the end of the world. If they score here, the draw is not the end of the world.
Not the end of the world.
But as you prefer it not to happen, but a save here.
Gareth Bale, like world-known, striker.
Yeah. They're showing up on the Fox broadcast, the graphic of where Gareth Bale's penalties go. He goes low.
In the stand.
Oh, I would. This is hard to watch if you're a U.S. fan, particularly. Even
Turner.
A Wales fan.
Matthew Turner, can you get a stop?
Gareth Bale's going to go low.
You do?
Well, given off the graphic in the recent history they showed, he always goes low. It's where his goals come from. This is the key to the penalty kicks. It's just you need to guess their tendencies.
Oh, no, he blasted it through. We're tied up at 1.
Well, it happens. Well, there was hope. There was something.
So,
yeah, that happens. Well, we're tied at 1. That stinks. That's unfortunate. I will say to the big text line here from the 75, don't the Giants still have a chance at the wild card? They do have the 3rd best record in the NFC. They're currently the 6th in the NFC. You are completely correct, Texter. That's why I said it teeters. Because I think the Giants will still make the playoffs. But I think Jake's point, as he always likes to point out, is he thinks the Giants are frauds.
Yes.
And I wouldn't really call them frauds. They had a bad game against the Lions. That happens. Teams have bad games. I think the Giants have still a good enough defense to keep them in every game, and they have more of a real offense than the Jets do. Because they have better players. And listen, Daniel Jones and Zach Wilson is like asking me to pick between my favorite burnt cookie. But Daniel Jones is a slightly less burnt cookie. There are things he can do offensively that can't still get short. So I would say it's still an overreaction, but it's teetering on it at the minute that neither New York State team makes the playoffs. My first overreaction, underreaction for you. The Seattle Seahawks find a way to get the number 2 seed. They're only 2 games back in Minnesota, and Minnesota isn't good. Their luck just fully ran out.
But Minnesota's they've won 2 more games. So I do think, and the Seahawks still have to face the Chiefs, and I think that's going to be a loss.
That matters. No, that's true.
So I'm going to sell that.
I will say,
I'm going to say that's overreaction.
I will say this though, and I think your point is valid. This is what Seattle has left. Raiders at home, at the Rams, Panthers at home, 49ers at home, Chiefs on the road, home against the Jets, home against the Rams.
I see what you're saying.
Seattle going 12-5 is completely possible. Logically, they should have one guaranteed loss left against the Chiefs, and who knows what happens there on Christmas Eve. And then they have a tough Thursday night game against the 49ers. A team that they did lose by 22 in week 2, but this is all different now. Meanwhile, Minnesota, a team with that 2-game lead, which I think is important, have the Patriots coming up on Thanksgiving, have the Jets, go to the Lions, home against the Colts, home against the Giants, go to the Packers, go to the Bears. In theory, you go, oh, Minnesota will win those games. It took an overtime miracle to beat the Bills. They just got shellacked by the Cowboys. And every game before that against bad teams, they were winning by the skin of their teeth. It would not stun me to see Minnesota drop 4 more games. If you sat there and told me Minnesota's going to find a way at 8-2 to finish 11-6, I'd go, okay. Because I think they are, you want to talk about paper tigers. I think that's Minnesota.
I don't think they're great, but I don't think they're, I think they're going to be, I still think just because they've won 8 games.
I get it, but they won 8 games by the skin of their teeth and luck. Luck metric matters.
But they still won them. And all that matters, doesn't matter how good you are, because we all agree that the Dolphins or the Bills will probably be the second best or the third. You see what I'm saying? Like,
yes, but I see your point to an extent.
So I'm gonna say I still think the Vikings will get the 2 seed because I think
fair.
they'll.
I think it's worth questioning what happens there with Minnesota's ability to finish the year because they're not good.
No, right now Team USA not good. Allowing a goal, they didn't need to do that. They didn't. That's frustrating. That's like walking a batter. That's like walking in a run. That's sad. I'm bummed right now.
It'll get better. Don't worry.
What, do you think they're going to win?
Oh, they could, but even that draws nothing to the world.
Yeah, but
is it the result you want? No. Is there still a way out of this? Yes.
Yeah. We'll get a timeout. We'll finish this edition of what happens if it's a draw? Is it's like a victory Monday kind of for team? Like, it's not really. Like, what do we do with that?
I don't know what we do with that. We'll have to workshop that.
We'll get a quick timeout here on Mic'd Up. Get more kicks out of every World Cup soccer match with FanDuel. Soccer and football fans, now is the perfect time to give FanDuel a shot because new customers get $125 in free bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Safe, secure, super easy to use, and then you can bet on anything from the money line to goals scored to corners to fouls. Plus, FanDuel even lets you combine your bets for a bigger payout with the same game parlay. Best of all, you get your winnings paid instantly. So don't miss your chance to get $125 in free bets, win or lose, when you join FanDuel with promo code Jake. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports book of the NFL. Must be 21 and present. Kansas. First online real money wager. Only $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as an non-withdrawable free bet. That expire 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas in agreement with Kansas Star Casino LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com. One of the all-time dumb penalties in World Cup history for the men. No need to commit the penalty. No need at all. Now we are down to 9 minutes of stoppage time. Can Team USA find a way to get a goal and to win it? A draw is not terrible, but when you are 10 minutes away from winning and locking up your World Cup, essentially,
you're making it an 80-some% chance to advance versus 59%. No, if you draw to Wales here, if this is what we hold final after these 9 extra minutes of stoppage time, you just need to lose to England by very little. Make sure it's a respectable loss to England. And then you need to beat Iran. Which, given how Iran goes 6 goals to England today, I know England's much better than the United States, but you should be able to beat Iran. So everything that the U.S. wants to be able to get to the knockout round is still in front of them if this holds as a draw. What you don't need in these 9 minutes is Wales to pull off a stunner and go up 2-1.
Oh, yeah, then you're cooked.
Your goose is...
Then you got to beat England.
Charred. Yeah, or at least draw.
Draw, yeah.
A draw against England would help.
And then a win against Iran.
Yep, and you would still be in it.
So, Team USA, man.
That's 7 minutes in a dream.
Subs happening. More stoppage time.
What a fun opening round.
We need the Patrick Mahomes of soccer. Do we have that on our team? I
No.
don't think so.
No.
I don't think we have that.
No. The answer is a short no.
No, we don't. Guess what we need? That's what we need.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes, 9-6 in his career as a starter when the Chiefs trail going into the fourth quarter. 9-6. That's a 600 winning percentage. Next best in a career, 37. He's at 60. He's a unicorn,
insane.
folks. He is.
Dude's insane.
Coming up next, we'll wrap things up, hopefully with a Team USA win here on Mic'd Up. We're wrapping things up on this edition of Mic'd Up with the mic drop. All right, Fulton, what do you got?
Much like Thanos in the great Marvel movies, Patrons and Travis Kelce are inevitable. They're going to find a way to get done. They're going to find a way to put up crazy numbers and win games and do the impossible and make it feel like they can never lose. Don't lose sight of that if you're Chiefs fans. Don't be so sucked with the moment you don't realize you're watching two bona fide first ballot Hall of Famers do some amazing stuff. Don't take it for granted.
Team USA is about ready to draw with a country the size of Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm.
Just let that sink in there. Team USA, all of the United States, is going to draw with Boston.
I mean, Boston's not all of Massachusetts.
I mean,
there are several other cities in the state of Massachusetts.
Not many, though.
Probably more than you think, apparently.
No. And that's if they don't give up a goal here at the end.
Yeah, Wales is controlling in their attacking third.
That'll do it for this edition of Mic'd Up. You can head to our website, 580wibw.com. Also, check us out on Twitter at SportsOn580. We'll be back tomorrow at noon. Talk all things Chiefs and maybe Team USA. Coming up next, 580 Sports Talk.